You guys are here for a very important reason. We need your help because tonight's essential question is which is the most underrated dinosaur? So forget your T-Rexes, forget your Brontosauruses, your Triceratops, your Stegosauruses. We're going to go through 9 different, what I believe to be, because this is my show, underrated dinosaurs in 3 different categories. So I'm going to show you the 3 from the first category. We'll have a vote. Next category, have a vote. Final category, we'll have a vote. We'll be left with 3 finalists, and the very last thing we do tonight is vote for the world's most underrated dinosaur. Are you ready? Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Category numero uno, that's Spanish, theropods. Theropods are the primarily carnivorous, bipedal, 3-toed dinosaurs. Here are the 3 I believe to be the most underrated. First and foremost, Giganotosaurus. Has anyone even heard of Giganotosaurus? A couple of you guys. Its name means basically giant southern lizard. This thing was larger than a T-Rex, or maybe about exactly the same size, possibly larger than the Spinosaurus. The T-Rex is in the purpley blue. We have Spinosaurus in the red. So Giganotosaurus is enormous, and frankly, I just think their skull is cooler looking than T-Rex. Didn't have the bite force, but definitely had a wider gape for more like hatchet-like machete action. That is your first underrated theropod, Giganotosaurus, as big as a T-Rex. And we're going to go in descending size order. Theropod number 2, Coelophysis. Hell yeah. I love Coelophysis for a number of reasons. First, it's a very old dinosaur, 200 million years. It's pretty old. Coelophysis was the first dinosaur we ever discovered that exhibited what we now know as like the standard theropod body plan, your velociraptors, your T-Rexes, your Giganotosauruses, that form. Also, it was the first dinosaur ever found with a furcula, which is a wishbone. So next time you're at Thanksgiving, keep that in mind. Also, that would later support chest muscles for flight. We're getting ahead of ourselves with birds. That is Coelophysis. Oh, the skeleton itself, the first, the holotype, is badass. You can see a ton of stuff in its stomach contents still, which tells us a lot about what it was eating. And if you want to see a replica of this, you can go to the downtown subway platform under the American Museum of Natural History, because it's right there as well. Woo. All right, we're blasting through these. The tiniest of our theropods, I know a couple people are about to gasp because I love this guy. This is Sinosauropteryx.
Oh, it's a mouse for scale.
He is a very, very small boy. In fact, if you're out on the street, it could blend in with a pigeon. Maybe never ever see it. And the colors you see on this guy are pretty accurate. Sinosauropteryx was the first dinosaur outside of the bird family that we found with direct evidence of feathers. It's the first non-avian dinosaur with feathers, and because it was preserved so well in a number of fossils, based on the impressions as well as melanosomes, which are microscopic structures that modern birds give color, pigmentation to feathers, we were able to determine Sinosauropteryx, there's another really cute fossil, looked very much like this cute-ass rabbit, or banded, raccoon-faced, ring-tailed, almost lemur guy. This is Sinosauropteryx. We had Giganotosaurus, we had Coelophysis, we had Sinosauropteryx. Which is the most underrated of the theropods?
Very big boy, very old boy, and very small boy.
Knew this was gonna happen.
Oh, they love the little
We have
guy.
a couple size queens here. A couple. Okay. Kristina, you want to call it?
Small is the size. I'm calling it for yellow.
Yellow? All right. Sinosauropteryx, good choice. They will be back. Write that down. That's important. All right, round 2, Spikey Boys. Spikey Boys. Kristina, I'm going to pause for a minute because I forget. Could you tell everyone? Actually, no, it's not a Spikey Boy. We'll come back to you.
Okay. I'll be ready.
Now, these Spikey Boys come from a range of different groups of dinosaurs. Our first is Kentrosaurus. You've probably heard of Stegosaurus. And Kentrosaurus asks the question is, what if instead of just plates, I covered my entire body with spikes and even had nearly meter-long ones jetting out from my shoulder blades? Which is just badass. Basically a walking pincushion and the derpiest face you can possibly imagine. That is Kentrosaurus. Also, I want to go back for a sec. This dinosaur is from southeastern Africa. I love in the last 15, 20 years or so, and especially in the last couple years, we're finding so many more very cool dinosaurs in places like South Africa, Morocco, China, Mongolia. So, any of you young budding dinosaur scientists, plenty of a career ahead of you. Yeah.
Certainly. Just don't vote for this one because the scale model is so hot.
So hot.
Don't be fooled, okay?
I should mention the paleo artist Sissio Purple that does all these with like the the map and the timeline. I don't know. I just like his stuff. That's Kentrosaurus. Oh, yeah, we saw all these. Next, Spikey Boy, Styracosaurus.
Oh, there she is again. Hot.
Now, I know we have a lot of Triceratops fans, and Triceratops and Styracosaurus are both ceratopsians. They're members of the keratinous-beaked and frilled dinosaur family. But for my money, no one is more metal than Styracosaurus, and you can see why at the American Museum of Natural History. 8 frill spikes, count them, ocho, and we're not sure exactly what they were used for. Fighting, probably not fanning, flirting, probably, maybe. That is our second. So we started with Kentrosaurus, we moved to Styracosaurus. Last of our Spikey Boys is a Margosaurus.
Business.
Yep.
That is a businessman.
A Margosaurus means business. For a sauropod, one of the long neck guys, long neck boys, not too large, but I absolutely love these keratinous spines that come off of the cervical vertebrae right behind the head and the back of the neck. We're not sure if there was like a frill that filled those in. Probably not, so it probably looked a lot more like this, but hey, maybe fighting, flanning, or flirting could have looked like this. And you know what? There's still a lot of speculation. Maybe one day, we'll see. We'll see. I like that they added the bird for scale there. Yeah.
Just a regular sized bird.
Yeah, just regular sized bird.
All birds are the same size.
I think when we see most dinosaur images you see like online, you're seeing them lengthwise, but oftentimes you're not seeing them straight ahead. And that's why I think a Margosaurus actually would be pretty scary. Can you imagine having these spines, the thing leaning down, maybe shaking it back and forth like a peacock?
Yeah, I was wondering if it can move, like if they can collapse it and then frill it up. Like, is there anything to indicate it was mobile?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know that on Stegosaurus plates, they can move a lot more than we originally anticipated because they're not fused to the spine.
Like solar panels.
Yes, exactly.
Stegosaurus photosynthesized.
That's good. That's true. That's true.
They believed me.
Who's the most underrated Spikey Boy? Kentrosaurus, the walking pincushion, Styracosaurus, 8 spikes coming out of its head, or Margosaurus with the spiky back of the neck situation. Oh, wow, there's a lot of parody.
I
There's
like
a
that
lot
you're
of
adding
parody.
an audio vote.
An audio vote?
I'm like, red. I see blue as I look out this way. How does it look, Noah?
Yeah, Kristina counts your vote twice if you yell the color. I'm kidding. But don't do that.
Voter fraud is such a problem in this country. I'm yelling the color. It's blue. Blue. It's blue.
We're going blue?
Noah has called
Okay.
it for blue. It is Styracosaurus.
I didn't see it coming. I like that. We determined the most underrated theropod. We've now determined the most underrated Spikey Boy. Now it is time for a random grab bag of weirdos because there were a lot of them. First and foremost, Shantungosaurus. Listen, we have not talked about any hadrosaurs. Do we have any Parasaurolophus stands in the audience? At least one. I love how quickly your hand goes up, Emily. So Shantungosaurus, much like Parasaurolophus, is a duck-billed hadrosaur, but this was a hadrosaur that was larger than a T-Rex. I didn't know this. I'm a dinosaur expert on the internet. I didn't know this dinosaur existed until like 2 years ago on the internet. That's the most important part. It's a huge, huge hadrosaur from China. The other cool thing about hadrosaurs is they're the only dinosaurs, as far as we know, that chewed their food rather than just like taking bites or clipping vegetation and swallowing. So they would have clipped it with the front beak, and then you can see the rows of teeth in the back, which actually crisscross and chew up vegetation, but not grass, because Mother Nature had not invented grass yet. Grass sucks. Why do you hate grass? Oh yeah, I don't want there to be Ducky Boy erasure, and so Shantungosaurus. Look how happy and go-lucky this guy is, even though he's on the edge of a cliff. In a slippery edge of a cliff. All right, Shantungosaurus, random weirdo number 1, random weirdo number 2, Dinosaurs. Yeah, all right, all right.
That's what it looks, yeah.
Dinosaurs is a large dinosaur. What do we have? Oh, yeah. So one of the coolest things about Dinosaurs is for the first 40 years of our knowledge of this animal, all we had were these 2 arms, which are also on display at the American Museum of Natural History. And so you can imagine the speculation of what the entire animal looked like. I really want there to be there isn't, but I wanted there to be someone who was like, oh, these are the actual T-Rex arms. This is why We've been mistaken, but they're not. We found the rest of this animal, and it is huge, it is feathered, it has no teeth, it has a duck-billed beak, and it has a pygostyle, which on modern birds is an attachment on the end of their vertebrae, on the end of their tail, where feathers attach to the vertebrae. So we're pretty positive the end of this thing, which is almost the size of a T-Rex, was not just covered in feathers, but had feathers on its butt. And it's an ornithomimosaur, which, like Gallimimus, the really fast runny guys from Jurassic Park. So it's basically a giant version of this that could run fast, covered in feathers, but is an herbivore, so it's not going to turn on you. And so for my money, if I could take any dinosaur into battle, something this size, this fast, that's not going to turn around and eat me, definitely would be this weird. God, it's just so weird. Oh. Yeah, we're going into battle together. Yeah. All right. That was underrated, weird, random grab bag guy number 2. What was the first one again?
The first one was the ducky guy.
Shantungosaurus.
Yep.
Dinosaurs, last but not least, Nigersaurus. Oh. The difference in reaction up here is wild. Another not too big of a sauropod, relatively small. I know that your favorite dinosaur is arguably the largest sauropod, largest animals ever walked on the face of the earth.
Yeah, the Titanosaur.
Right? Titanosaur. Nigersaurus, from this picture, looks like your run-of-the-mill kind of small sauropod, but you got to see the mug straight on, because this is basically Darth Vader and a vacuum cleaner having a giant baby. He's so happy. He's so happy. I'm just noticed they put like plant matter in the mouth.
Oh yeah, he didn't brush before the photo
Yeah, that
shoot.
tongue is doing stuff. All right. You guys, we need to know which is the most underrated random grab bag weirdo. Is it Shantungosaurus, Dinosaurs, or Nigersaurus? Who's the biggest underrated weirdo?
I
feel like I can't count my own vote.
Yeah, I see mostly blue, but we haven't counted the audio votes of people.
The audio votes. Blue?
No, at this table.
Do you want to have a vote off between blue and yellow?
Ooh,
No, do we?
Noah's got it.
Blue. All right.
Dinosaurs.
So, Kristina, can you remind us who are our 3 finalists, which we'll see at the end of the night?
The most underrated theropod was Sinosauropteryx, is a small guy.
Yep.
The most underrated spiky boy was Styracosaurus,
Okay.
8 horns guy. And then the weirdo who was the most underrated was Dinosaurs, the one that Dustin is riding into battle.
You guys, we have one last thing to vote on. Remember, we're here to determine which is the most underrated dinosaur.
We gotta get
This is it. We are here. Yeah. Democracy is important.
Answer.
It is time to vote on the most underrated dinosaur. Remember, we had 3 categories. We had Theropods, we had Spikey Boys, and we had just a grab bag of weirdos. And our 3 options, if you recall, are Sinosauropteryx, Styracosaurus, or Dinosaurs. This is a lot of responsibility. Right now, you are voting on the most underrated dinosaur of all time. Please vote now.
Ooh, I saw a lot of quick reds.
Is our little lemur-like guy.
Yellow area over
is
here.
Is Styracosaurus with 8 frill spikes? Or is it Dinosaurs with a pygostyle in the beak going into battle? Wow, this is...
Yellow over here.
I don't know what that means, Noah.
Hey! What does that mean?
Oh,
red?
I see a lot of yellow over here.
Noah has
There's a lot of yellow over here. Do you want to do a count? Let's do it. You know what?
He already did.
Because we're on the stage and we have microphones, I'm calling it as a runoff between Sinosauropteryx and Dinosaurs. So, that means we have to vote again.
Red or yellow?
Eliminate Styracosaurus, red or yellow, most underrated Sinosauropteryx or Dinosaurs. Fuck, this is tough. No, the TA, please help us. 1, 2, 3,
The
4,
people
5,
who voted red voted really
6, 7,
fast.
8, 9, 10,
They have
11,
that
12,
going for them.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31,
Someone in this area is going to explode.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Noah, if you could check on them.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Oh! The people have spoken.
The people have spoken. Dinosaurs are for the people, so both. Sure, why not?
Sinosauropteryx and Dinosaurs.
You guys, I just want to take a moment in all earnestness. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, Kristina and I started doing something called Dino 101 on Zoom literally every single day for anyone anyone who wanted to tune in and nerd out. And that grew into an adults-only thing that was ticketed and there was drinking. And then we were like, hey, one day that'd be cool if we did it like broader and live on stage. And here we are doing Science 101, and we got to do Dinosaurs. And I fucking love all of you, and I want to thank every single one of you for giving myself and Kristina the platform to be ourselves. I love you for sure. And for the Dino 101 stands who have been here since the beginning, you know that the after party is mandatory, right? And it starts at the bar right now. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
I like the jumpsuit.
Thank you.
I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level.